Two people can earn the same salary for 20 years, live in the same city, have the same opportunities, and still end up in completely different financial worlds. One quietly builds millions. The other spends decades looking successful while secretly feeling trapped. And the difference usually comes down to one invisible force. A force that activates the moment you start making more money. Most people think financial problems happen because someone doesn't earn enough. But something strange happens when people finally start earning good money. The problems don't disappear. They just change shape. Instead of worrying about bills, people start worrying about expectations. A nicer apartment, a better car, better restaurants, better vacations. And none of these feel irresponsible. In fact, they feel like proof you're doing well. But here's the dangerous part. These upgrades rarely happen all at once. They happen slowly, so slowly that you barely notice them, until one day you look at your income and realize almost all of it is already spoken for. There's a hidden system that activates as soon as your income rises. You could think of it as the success tax, not a government tax, a psychological one. The more money you make, the more pressure there is to look like someone who makes that money. And this pressure quietly turns raises into expenses, not investments. Imagine two coworkers who both start earning $120,000 a year. Person A upgrades their lifestyle immediately. Better apartment, new car lease, weekend trips. Their life looks impressive. Person B does something strange. They keep living almost the same way they did before. Same apartment, same car, same routines. From the outside, person A looks richer. But after 10 years, person B often is richer. Because wealth isn't built by what people see. It's built by what never gets spent. And the uncomfortable truth is that the strongest wealth builders often look surprisingly ordinary. Here's something fascinating about the human brain. One upgrade rarely stays alone. You buy something nicer, and suddenly everything around it feels outdated. A new couch makes the old coffee table look cheap. A luxury car makes the old garage feel wrong. A renovated kitchen makes the rest of the house feel unfinished. Psychologists call this upgrade chaining. Each improvement creates a subtle pressure for the next one. And individually, every purchase feels reasonable. But together, they quietly absorb years of financial progress. There's a statistic that surprises almost everyone. A huge number of people earning hundreds of thousands of dollars a year still report living paycheck to paycheck. Not because they're irresponsible, but because their financial structure expanded to match their income. Mortgage, car payments, private school, travel habits. When income rises, expectations rise faster. And suddenly someone earning $300,000 can feel more financially stressed than someone earning $120,000. Because the higher earner built a lifestyle that needs the income to survive. Not one that creates freedom. But here's the strange twist. The people who build the most wealth often do something that feels completely wrong. When their income increases, their lifestyle barely moves at all. Instead, they redirect the majority of the raise somewhere invisible. Investments, retirement accounts, assets that grow quietly in the background. This creates a gap. At first the gap looks small, but over 10 or 20 years, that gap becomes enormous. Most people believe wealth comes from earning more, but the real accelerator is something else entirely. The gap between what you earn and what you spend. A person earning $80,000 and saving aggressively can build far more wealth than someone earning $250,000 who spends almost everything. Because money that gets invested begins working independently. It compounds. And eventually it starts generating its own income. That's the moment when financial life changes. When money stops being something you work for and becomes something that works for you. The biggest financial trap isn't being poor. It's looking rich too early. Because appearances demand maintenance. The nicer the lifestyle becomes, the more income it requires to sustain. And suddenly the person who should feel successful feels something else entirely. Pressure. Meanwhile, the person who delayed those upgrades is quietly building a system that eventually removes pressure entirely. So the difference between people who look wealthy and people who become wealthy usually comes down to three things. First, resisting the urge to match your lifestyle to your income. Second, recognizing how one upgrade can trigger an entire chain of spending. And third, protecting the gap between what you earn and what you spend, because that gap is where wealth actually grows. If you found this interesting, you'll probably want to watch the next video.